So Joe Jonas has filed for divorce from his wife, Sophie Turner, after 4 years of what they call a wonderful marriage. And the PR wars have begun. Everyone on Twitter is trying to blame Joe Jonas because every time that there is a high-profile celebrity divorce, they want to blame the man. Every single time, regardless of what the facts are. For instance, Ariana Grande and Dalton Gomez.
Thank you!
Thank you! To be continued.
It's party time.
But yeah, Dalton Gomez, they're getting a divorce because he couldn't support Ariana Grande's girl boss pop star lifestyle because he's a misogynist. And Jonah Hill, he was a controlling, abusive boyfriend who didn't let his girlfriend have a social life. And we're just supposed to accept these narratives as fact because they never want the women to be in the wrong. But it's looking like this Sophie Turner and Joe Jonas situation is maybe going in the other direction, because the big revelation from an anonymous source close to the couple is that Joe Jonas is the homebody. He likes to stay at home. And Sophie Turner likes to party. They have very different lifestyles. And then this headline comes out. Sophie Turner, 27, felt trapped in her marriage to Joe Jonas and wants to relive her youth after marrying and having children young, friends say, as she's seen downing shots and cocktails in Birmingham days before the singer Joe Jonas filed for divorce. So they're basically saying she felt like she didn't get to live her teen and young adult years fully because she jumped into marriage and family life too young with Joe Jonas, who is 6 years older than her, I believe.
Yeah.
And they're also painting him as a predator because when they got married, she was 23 and he was 30.
That's a totally reasonable age.
I know, but to weird stands on Twitter, they
totally
think
reasonable.
that's predatory and an old man, an old disgusting creep,
She was a
taking advantage of
25-year-old
a
teenager.
child. Yeah, exactly.
That seems like a perfect. That actually
it's
seems
like the
a
most
pretty
normal
good,
age gap I've ever heard.
It seems like a good matchup.
Yeah.
First of all, 23, you're perfectly an adult. You get to make your own decisions.
They started dating when she was 19, got engaged about a year later, very normal timeline there, and got married a couple years after that. And because of this, she feels like, she didn't get to live the university life. She didn't get to go to clubs and get drunk. She didn't get to party with her friends.
The standard now is you spend your late teens and early 20s being a total disaster, sleeping with 500,000 different guys and getting wasted all the time.
That's happiness.
And then you're supposed to find someone who wants to tolerate you after that.
Yeah, exactly. That party lifestyle aside,
I mean, just do all that stuff together. When you're married, do stuff together. Some nights stay home and watch Netflix and do kid stuff, and some nights go out and have fun.
There's a $20 one there.
They're rich people too. Get a babysitter.
Nannies.
It's okay. You can get a babysitter.
No,
just as long as Joe Jonas doesn't cheat with the babysitter.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
The way Ethan Hawke did.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Susan Inspiration said, obviously, Joe Jonas and wife did not have enough deep conversations at the Waffle House.
That would have been much better.
So true.
That much have been, that's just being classist. They just don't want to go to Waffle House. And if they had, maybe this wouldn't be happening.
Was there a Waffle House concern?
Probably. I have no idea.
Well, she's British, so she doesn't understand the value.
She probably doesn't know about Waffle House. I like Waffle House.
Yes. But yeah.
And Joe Jonas also allegedly decided to file for divorce after seeing a Ring camera footage or audio where she said or did something that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Who's the other Jonas brother? Kevin?
There's Nick and Kevin.
I'm telling you, she's like, Kevin's not the funny one. He's the hot one, and he got pissed.
Kevin was always the least favorite Jonas brother, which is why I believe he's the most well-adjusted one.
Yep, married since 2009, it said. Works in like a regular job when he's not touring.
Also, maybe don't have your house spy on you.
Yep.
Yeah, Ring cameras are creepy.
I don't like any piece of that. I never want stuff like that.
But yeah, it's you know what it is? It is a big part of the culture now to believe that the grass is always greener on the other side, and that's
always true, right?
But yeah. And for people that it's like there is no value anymore put on the fact that look, and again, never been married, no kids, But I do understand the idea that marriage and and making the choice to bring another life into this world and take care of it requires more than just your happiness. It requires sacrifice on your part, and your happiness no longer comes first. The happiness and the well-being of those children comes first, and in a lot of ways, you're supposed to then put the well-being and the needs of your spouse or partner on equal level with your own, right? You have to be confident in yourself, and you should be self-assured and mentally well in a relationship. Otherwise, it's not going to work. If you can't take care of yourself, how do you expect to be there for another person? But at the same time, it does require sacrifice. So
but this is the age where people view potential spouses as just accessories to optimize their lifestyle, like a Peloton.
Yeah.
Like
Did you see the thing where the Peloton killed that guy?
What?
Hey, really?
Yeah, it like fell on him and it severed some essential artery.
Okay.
See, guys, don't exercise. It's a horrible idea.
I was picturing it like going out of control and like smoke rising and bursting into flames and immolates the man. But
have you ever seen the videos of people getting sucked into the escalators?
Oh, that is terrible.
That was my number one fear.
I don't want to see that.
I had nightmares about that all the time.
I was so it would always be on like unexplained mysteries, unsolved mysteries. So is that. And then
there was a kid that got scalped
and just sucked into the thing. And so it's like I had a lot of years where I'm like, I'm not going on an escalator. Besides, a broken escalator is just temporarily stairs, as we know. But also there was a video of like a I couldn't tell if they like reenacted this, but it was like a baby like running with a toothbrush and falls on its face.
Did the kid die?
No. But the point is, it's just supposed to scare the crap out of you.
Well, there was a lady who died from doing something similar, and she was using one of those reusable steel straws, and it like went right. Very terrible. Yeah, death. Recyclable straws, like those reusable straws, they kill.
Yeah.
Just go back to plastic.
Yeah.
And the paper ones, who knows? You might get stuck in your nose and suffocate and die.
No, they're gonna. They melt. Yeah. I hate them.
They have them out here too. They have them at some of the diners. They're awful.
I won't use that.
So yeah,
my son gets so pissed when he sees those. He's like, it's paper.
It's awful.
Yeah.
Do you think this
can't drink a milkshake with a paper straw?
No. Do they actually? No. But if you get a milkshake at one of those places, they give you a steel straw though. They give you like a metal one.
Well, if you're eating in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They just give you like and just. Breaks.
Yeah. Terrible.
Do you think this is just a product of the culture we live in now, where nobody wants it? Like they don't see marriage as something that's actually a commitment and sacrifice. They just see it, like you said, as an accessory for their for the fashion of their professional career, like we were talking about earlier. The guy who had to get married because he needed to have somebody to go to parties with. Basically.
Oh, right. The people I just think this is I posted on Twitter that I think this is a really bad reason to get divorced. And people were like, there is no good reason to get divorced. And I don't know that that's entirely true either. But I do think that this is a particularly bad reason to get divorced. This is like the same bullshit that my grandparents my grandfathers, right? My grandfathers both walked out on my grandmothers, which... it was the 70s. Like, that's not cool.
Men, am I right?
But I'm not saying men. I'm saying their reasoning was because they wanted some different experience of life other than being with the woman that they married and had many children with. Between the two of them, it was like 7 kids.
We all know that you're supposed to buy a sports car, not get divorced.
Get a toupee, people.
Exactly.
Take up woodworking.
What are you doing?
That's when my parents got divorced. So like. Both my parents, I love both. My mom's since passed, but love both my parents. But when they got divorced, like my dad just picked up every hobby, like just got every hobby in the book. Started learning guitar, picked up woodworking, all these things, and it just seemed like he was so much happier. I'm like, maybe if you'd done that before,
right,
you guys wouldn't have gotten divorced, right?
My dad became born again.
Oh, so everybody finds something, right? Like it's like, because what it was, like my dad would come home from work, and if he didn't make dinner, he'd watch the news, and then the news would piss him off, like as it does with all of us, and he'd go to whatever annoying story was on the news. I'm like, bro, turn the news off. Like if it's that annoying to you, like do you really
How
need
is
to know?
cyberbullying real? Just
Your
close
dad
the laptop.
needed Twitter.
He needed no.
So that he could have been like, I'm
That would
pissed
be
at
even
this
worse.
news story.
Yeah. But it's just.
I think that Sophie Turner is in this situation blaming a lot of her own regrets about her lifestyle choices on her husband. But you can change the husband, it doesn't change the past. Like,
I think she's going to regret
She
this.
regrets throwing herself into her career and fame when she could have lived a more conventional lifestyle where people weren't going to take photographs of her all the time. But again, made that decision, deal with the consequences of it after the fact. This says, Sophie feels like she's only just waking up to what her life really is. She became very famous at a very young age, then married and had kids at a young age, and never really had the teenage years of sleeping around and just having carefree fun with friends. She feels like her life stalled after Game of Thrones, and so has her personal life. Since the kids came along, she feels trapped. She's the only person in her tight friendship group who is married with 2 children. And likely that friendship group is pushing her towards self-destructive habits because that's the way that they live and they don't want to feel bad about themselves. So they need to drag other people down to the bottom with them.
Yeah.
Now she feels she wants to make up for the time she's lost as a young person. Jo wants a more settled life, and she's not ready for that because she feels that she's not even had a teen or young adult life. They met when she was 19. Like, they're acting like they've been dating since middle school, and she never had a social life, never had a job.
Also, probably
Like-
she fell in love. Like, falling in love is
Yeah.
worth it. Stick it out. You know? I mean, my marriage didn't work out in the end, and that's, my own personal tragedy. But the thing is, if you fall in love, like stick it out. Like, keep looking at your husband and be like, I am in love with this man.
I
You
saw a
know?
tweet that was like, how do you get divorced after 4 years? Like, just stay married, LOL. And it's
4
like,
years?
it's as simple as that. It truly
Yeah.
is. It sounds condescending, but like,
That's a
you've
really
barely
good
even
point.
gotten to know a person
Yeah.
in 4 years.
They have 2 kids and it's been 4 years. Well, then they should definitely stick it out because they've had their kids young. They're gonna grow up and they're gonna have all this great time together, or they would have.
Let's look at Emrata's take. She decided to weigh in a TikTok where she congratulates women who get divorced under 30, like she did.
Here we go.
Under 30.
So it seems that a lot of ladies are getting divorced before they turn 30. And as someone who got married at 26, has been separated for a little over a year, 32, I have to tell you, I don't think there's anything better. If being in your 20s is the trenches, there is nothing better than being in your 30s, still being hot, maybe having a little bit of your own money, figuring out what you want to do with your life, everything, and having tried that married fantasy and realizing that it's maybe not all it's cracked up to be, and then you've got your whole life still ahead of you. So for all of those people who are stressed or feeling stressed about that, about being divorced, like it's good. Congratulations.
Your kids are now going to grow up suffering. Congratulations.
But not only that, so are you. Like, you're gonna suffer too, right? Here she is. She's in her 30s. She's still hot. She has money. Like, wait till you're 45, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, check it out once you're nearing 50
off.
and you're like by yourself, and you have money or whatever, but you're definitely not interested anymore. Like, men aren't going to be interested in you. I was talking to my
Like,
friend.
what is she doing in this video? She's
Right.
laying naked in bed, doing nothing.
Right, like-
sitting on TikTok.
And like, who cares about you in 5 years? Who cares about you at any point? No one actually cares about you. I was talking to a friend of mine who's like, her marriage, she's divorced, she has kids, she's like on whatever stupid bullshit dating apps. And I keep being like, go out in public and meet people. Yeah. Go to things, like go meet people, stop being online. But whatever, she's got to do her own thing. But she was like, guys will post, guys who are my age, whatever, like middle-aged guys will post like only looking for women between certain age. And she's like, what is that about? And I'm like, that's reality. What that is about is reality. Like, you don't like reality, that's fine, but there it is.
Yeah. Yep.
And of course, like, Hollywood celebrity who has a lot of money and like all the surgeons in the world to do whatever can say this, but like for your average woman,
It's a very condescending message to put out
and
there.
it's gonna, like, she maybe will end up happy because she will be able to like go do whatever she wants
She has the
that
safety net
status
to do destructive shit to her life.
But
I
the
know.
rest of the women out there in the world, they're going to
They
hit
need
that
security.
And even if, they also are not going to be able to find a different man.
I mean, I don't know
So
about
if it's not, if he's not, if it's not abusive, if it's not like a dangerous situation for you and your kid, like look at your man, remember that you're in love with him, and figure it out. You know?
I know that if I was a modern woman working a regular job, I would take all my dating and relationship advice from Emily Ratatouille and Mia Khalifa. That's where I would get.
Oh my God, I
That's-
forgot about that one. That one was so nasty.
That's where I would get my marriage advice, and I would expect that society would do nothing but improve if I did that. Who else to give you that advice? I say.
Truly.
And these are all people too who are going to get all their whatever we were talking about this last time I was here. Their like weird cheek fat removed and do
she's
whatever
already
bullshit.
had her fillers and stuff in there. I have no doubt.
It's
right?
just too much.
But it's just, but this is also the fact that a lot of people take advice from people that aren't living their situation. I don't know about the security, like if we're talking about the security part, like physical security, but right now women are starting to out earn men at work anyways and are graduating
do you
college
remember-
in higher numbers.
You know that why that is like that there was this whole stupid diversity push for getting more women to be in college. So a bunch of women ended up so you had more scholarships for women, you had more specific kinds of stupid academic programs for women, like that's how we ended up with gender studies and all of this total trash that is not actually academic or intellectual, that has absolutely no rigorous components to it.
Well, from what I've seen, the statistics I've seen on Twitter and then just adopted as my reality, people are saying that the richest people and the poorest people are still getting married young, having kids young, and staying married more often. The middle class is drowning, and divorce rates are going up for the middle class.
In what ifs. They're drowning in what ifs. What if I could find somebody better? What if I could find somebody that's not
Because
like
they
this
need
person?
Jesus.
But it's for a woman like Emily Ratajkowski, she's living a very different world than your average woman that's taking advice from these people.
She's wearing makeup in bed.
Yeah.
It was probably a TikTok filter, though.
Who does that?
I just woke up like this.
Yeah.
Look, what?
I mean, if you wear makeup in bed, it's either because it's a setup or because you had a bad night and didn't wash your face.
Yeah, it's just I just don't know about all this. I feel like a lot of times, like I make the jokes, right? I make the joke that there's like women like they just anything they can to outrun being responsible for their own actions, right? That's the joke. But at the same time,
everybody though.
No, but yeah, but at the same time, on every level, society is giving most of them bad advice.
Part of that is that society wants the government, American society and much of the West wants the government to be your mate.
Yes.
They want the government to be your mate and your spouse and the one that you turn to when you're in a time of crisis.
Because why would you want to rely on the husband or the partner?
Just rely on the state.
Yep. I was actually making that argument yesterday because we were talking about The Rock and we were talking about Oprah and we were talking about Maui and saying like all these people are complaining that rich people are asking them for their money, right? I'm like, yeah, but you'd have no problem if they took your tax dollars and sent it there. You don't care about that because it's the government that's giving them the money. People
And they're taking your money anyway.
Yeah. And one of the big problems that I've had recently is actually the idea that people keep talking. Like I get very annoyed. This is a little bit off topic, but I get annoyed with the doomerism of everyone who complains. Like, and it's what they're complaining about is completely valid. It's like, I'm never going to be able to afford a house. Very likely true for a lot of people. The boomers screwed everything up. Very much true in a lot of cases. I'm like, but what does the doomerism get you? It's not getting you the free markets you want to make this better. What it's going to do is make people more reliant on the government, just like they're saying with this. The next generation isn't trending towards any type of like free market economy. They're saying, let the government solve my problems because the problems that this generation has caused are unsolvable in their current state for me. And that's what's happening for a lot of the problems that society has created for these women. I don't know if they're unsolvable, but they're not even able to really assess what the issue is because every aspect of society tells them that this behavior is what they want to do. The grass is always greener on the other side. There will always be someone else. There's always more to be gained. When they're failing to understand that there is a lot of joy, like for the people who know, and there's plenty of people in the chat who, you had parents that stayed together 30, 40, 50 years. Like that's happiness to aspire. That's happiness to aspire to, right?
Yeah.
And it's like that's not shown to them in society. They don't show those strong relationships on television in movies anymore. You don't see a couple been married for 50 years that's shown in a good way. If it is, it's because one of the spouses died and the show is showing you that person is a widower now. At best, if not, they just broke up. So it's like, how do you expect people to behave better when there's no examples in society giving them a better, showing them a better path? I don't know.
One thing I wanted to read from Twitter says Sophie Turner is currently able to listen to Taylor Swift breakup songs that are literally written about Joe Jonas.
That's amazing.
Which is perfect.
Oh, and you also were saying that people were complaining because they were comparing Nick Jonas and Priyanka Chopra, who of course everyone knows.
She was feeling pressure to be like Priyanka Chopra, who's married to Joe's brother Nick. Because she's older, she's more mature. They seem to have a much better family life.
And remember, Priyanka, if that doesn't work out, I'm here. I'm available. Like she's older than me. That's fine. Not nearly as much of an age gap as
Al Pacino.
I will be your Noor Falah if I must. I will.
Age gap of like 5 years or less. This also says Joe Jonas tried to date Gigi Hadid when she was 13 years old and he was 19, which is weird. Just wanted to throw that out there. No one's free of blame here.
Right. Although I bet she didn't look 13.
No, she didn't.
No.
You said she looked 13 with makeup.
She said no because she had school tomorrow.
You said she looked 13 with makeup. I didn't think she looked 13. I thought it made her look older than that. So
makeup I think makes you look older.
Yeah, it was creepy. So
kind of creepy.
Yeah.
And everything in the media right now about their divorce is very carefully placed, PR firm formulated news headlines that make either one of them look better or worse. So I'm sure there's a lot we're missing here, and that the story we're talking about is in a lot of ways fabricated.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.